Real talk, real life, real growth.
This is Raw Reality with Tori Story and Fit with Lily.
Welcome back to a Monday episode, and today we're going to give you some value. I feel like we haven't done an educational episode in a while.
Well, it's just because we batch recorded.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
So like for them, probably not.
Yeah.
For us, definitely.
And I feel like we have some built up opinions at the moment, and something that's been definitely on the forefront of my mind is a lot of people, which we're going to get into, but expecting their dream and their goals to come to life with minimal work. And especially through society, I feel like we expect everything handed to us on a silver plate, and yep, that would be amazing, but it's not the reality. And we're kind of just going to dive into essentially you just need to work harder to achieve your dream life.
Yeah. And like we'll make sure whether it's like in business, in your career, in your own business or social media as well. I feel like they're kind of like the main touch point. So whether you're owning your own business or you're working for someone, this still comes like hand in hand, I guess, and like the trajectory of your career in your working life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let's just pretty much get straight into it. And I know this is something that we almost disagree on slightly. So I feel like perfect. Let's start the episode off strong is manifesting versus actually doing the work. And I know you're kind of like obviously on the fence with it. Understandable that you still need to put work in. But for me personally, you actually just need to get the job done, and you can manifest all you want. But if you're just sitting in a chair and not actually putting in the work, you're not going to achieve the results that you desire. And there's a lot of people that sell different energetics online. They sell manifesting courses. They sell all of these things, and okay, amazing. And what might work for them. But personally, for me and the people that I see in my environment succeed aren't sitting there just manifesting their dream life. They're actually putting in steps in play to work for it.
Yeah.
No,
I'm fully agreeing with you. I'm all for manifesting and doing vision boards and sitting down and like writing out dream life or what you want your year to look like, but it doesn't come without work. Like you have to still put in the work. And I think like I always say I unintentionally manifest things and I'm like, oh, I remember like having that vision or thinking that I want that car or this or that or the other, but I'm still putting in the work so that when it does happen, I'm like, well, I'm not surprised, but equally I'm surprised because it was once just like a vision kind of thing. But I know every day that I'm putting in the work to get to that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the thing that I struggle with the most with manifesting is I'm a visual learner. Actually, I'm also of a doer learner, but I'm not very, like, I can't see things in my mind. So, like, if you tell me to imagine something, it's not much color, it's quite dull. I'm not a creative person.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I struggle with manifesting, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I vision this for my life. I'm like, I don't vision anything. Like, I literally just know what I want verbally, then go get it. Or it's more so, like, of a written thing. I don't know what that's called. I'm sure there's some type of, like, learning thing.
Example for me is, like, saying for, like, the last 5 years that I'm like, I want to compete in acro one more time before I have kids. And then the way that all just happened, whereas like I didn't really put any effort into that because I didn't think it would happen. Like I was just like, I would love to compete one more time, and it literally just fell into my lap.
Yeah, so the subconscious actions led to that because it's like you never blocked that off completely.
Yeah.
It was still almost like an open loop and you were inviting any opportunity in. So then when it did come, you're like, oh, cool, I'm accepting this.
It. Yeah. So it's just like however you perceive it. But I think whether you're a manifestor or not, you still need to put in the hard work to achieve big things.
Absolutely. And this is where we always talk about action and like just planning. And you can plan all you want, but that's not going to lead to your dream life. No amount of like listening to podcasts, journaling, writing out your goals, doing a vision board, doing any of that isn't actually getting you one step further. It feels productive. It's just like productiveness in a way. Like it's not actually helping you do anything. And
like it feels productive to write a to-do list, but then are you taking that to-do list off? Are you actually doing the things on there?
Yeah. And that's where this year was definitely a different approach for me because I did half a vision board, have not finished, didn't write down a single goal. I just knew that I had to get to work on doing what I knew was going to grow my business, and not only that, but also what was going to help my mental health at that time, what was going to help me physically. And I just literally got to work and got it done. And that's what's led me here, not necessarily doing all these other little steps that I have done the previous years. And absolutely, it's going to work for some people. But for me, I spent more time making sure my vision board was perfect, making sure that my goals were perfect, that when I got actually to doing the thing, I was already burnt out. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I've just spent a whole week planning. I need a break. So sometimes it's not about planning, it's just about starting.
Yeah. Another thing on manifesting is like a lot of people go, oh, it's too hard, it's not meant for me. Or it's like, it didn't happen easily, it's not meant for me. A lot of things that are worth having don't come easy. And so when you're just bypassing and going, oh, too hard. Well, maybe you actually just need to work hard enough and then you can have the thing, because people just let it slide, let it go. So I think it's like always coming back to, are you still putting in the work no matter what? And I think a lot of that we're going to touch on today in those different kind of subject topics in terms of like social media or business wise, because a lot of people can use the influence industry as like it's too saturated, for example. But like if you put yourself out there enough, you can make it happen, and we're going to get into that. But I think that's like the biggest one that we probably hear, or say in like the coaching industry, in fitness coaching, like, oh, it's too saturated. Yeah. So we're going to dive into that.
And it's a lot of people want the outcome. They don't want the process in the middle of it. So it's like, I want a successful business, but are you willing to put the work in the moment? I want to have a healthy body that trains and that's really fit. Are you willing to continue to show up on the days that motivation isn't there? I want a really healthy relationship. Okay. Are you willing to communicate on the days where you don't feel like communicating or you feel hot-headed? It's like all of those things in between, the hard work that feels like it shouldn't be hard, but it is. That's when you need to show up and continue doing that.
So going into a bit of like the social media side of things, because people say, you know, if you're not an influencer or online and you're kind of just scrolling and looking in, you're like, oh, they just film their life and they get free shit, they get paid for things, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, it's pretty great getting free things and, you know, getting flown to Melbourne on the weekend and getting paid for it. Like, yes, that's great. But I've put in a shit ton of work to get to where I am. And, you know, I've had my Instagram hacked and I've had to rebuild, and that was like solidified for me where I'm like, no, I really do want to make this work. I see this life for me. I love sharing my story and, you know, inspiring others, and that's my why. And so after getting hacked, I'm being like, no, I'm going to do what it takes to kind of make this work and build that back up. And it wasn't easy. It's not hard putting your whole life online. I basically put myself naked online when I was pregnant and I'm like sitting on the toilet. But I choose to do it because I know the outcome that I get is inspiring others and helping them in their own life in some way, shape or form, whether that has been through skin, pregnancy, postpartum, being an athlete, starting a business. Like there's been so many aspects that I've shared that have helped other people. And so that was my why. But people just come on and think, oh, you just get free stuff and it's great, which, yeah, it is. But it doesn't just happen. I don't just start an Instagram and get free things.
Literally. That's why I also like put this in here, because I was like, the influencers that are successful aren't just posting a funny video of themselves online and then a byproduct of that is just getting everything handed to them. The people who are most successful in the industry put the most work in. For example, I know we always talk about Sarah's date, but it's someone who's both inspired Tori and I. And when she first started, she was doing 3 YouTube videos a week and uploading that while balancing studying at the same time and a job. And like, I don't think people understand how hard that is. It's like, I know she was staying up to like 2 a.m. And then you have, let's say, for example, like Alex Earl. It seems like she has the most perfect life. But if you like, I've kind of like deep dived into her like 2 months ago. Like I was just very interested in how she did everything. And I'm like, this girl doesn't sleep. She's literally back to back. And there's a video of her friend filming her and they're like, this is how Alex gets all of her videos up live. They're on a bus partying and she's in a corner editing her Get Ready With Me before she goes out. So it's posted live. And it's like, you don't see that parts of it. Now, someone that I want to talk about who does this very well is Sofa Dofa. And oh my goodness, like that girl is killing it at the moment. And I literally don't know how she does it. And it looks like, again, she has the perfect life. She has the money, the travel, the free products, the amazing Instagram photos. Like it seems like she has everything put together, but that girl works hard and you can tell because I've never seen someone on so many campaigns in my life while balancing a business and while still posting multiple TikToks a day. Like it's insane. Like I do one travel and I'm out for the rest of the week. I'm like, how do these people do it? And again, it looks so perfect from the outside, but you don't realize how much they're hustling underneath the surface.
She's someone I would love to get on and talk about the nitty gritty because this is where we know, because we are in the industry, we both own businesses, we both are online, and seeing the work that she does. She's flown home from Europe, which was a work trip. The next day she's on a Glassons campaign. Then 2 days later she's back on the plane going to Tasmania for a brand trip where she's posting everything in real time. Her vlogs are extremely up to date and she edits them herself. Taylor was actually saying what she thinks she does is edits on her phone, her vlogs. So she imports it from her Osmo to her phone and then just edits it on CapCut or whatever platform she uses.
I feel like that would be
because that's like very, very easy to do it on the go. Like when
Holy
you're
shit, the
traveling.
storage on it.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God. But then obviously she'd probably delete it.
Yeah, that's another question I'd love to ask her. How do you organize your photos?
Yeah,
Do you delete
yeah.
or do you keep?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, being in the industry, we send Sofadova's page probably like once a week, being like, oh, now she's doing this, and just have so much appreciation for how much hard work she's putting in. And it's like every other influencer or big, I guess, social person that you see has put in the work to get there. Sure, there's the odd person who's blown up overnight and then just fallen into it. And a lot of people have that story of like, I just fell into social media. But there are a lot of people like ourselves who have actually worked hard to get the following, get the audience, get the trust and the community behind you. Has Alex Earl has she been interviewed on a podcast?
Oh, well, she had her own podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, well, Call Her Daddy interviewed her originally, but I don't think she's been on one since,
I would love to hear from her like a business.
I know. Well, they're about to come out with the Netflix documentary.
Yeah, true.
Or series. I can't wait for that. That's
When does
very,
that launch?
very soon, I'm pretty sure.
good.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
can be our movie night.
Yes,
in the
I will
studio.
be sat.
Yeah.
Like, I am obsessed
Popcorn,
with her.
everything.
No, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And I think something really interesting to note here is millions of people post online every single day. Millions, but not every single person is successful from it. There are so many people that I see that do post every single day and that haven't blown up. Now, the difference is like there's people that just post for the sake of it and people who actually treat it like a business. And the people that treat it like a business are the ones that do grow and the ones that are looking at their algorithm and their insights and be like, okay, this performs well. And I think that's something that you do very well. You know what your audience likes and doesn't like. And yes, obviously like being authentic self really does help that, but you're negotiating all of your deals. You're constantly in your like DMs and you're always on top of things when it comes to socials. And that's why you do get to have it as a full-time job. But people are expecting it to come to them when all they do is post a story here and there and post like a bad quality, relatable video every day, and that's not going to take them to that next step.
Yeah. And that's another thing, like you just mentioned, I'm always in my DMs replying. So my audience feel like they're somewhat connected and I'm not just a person on a screen that doesn't seem like a real person in a way. It's like us replying to like Alex Earl. She's not going to reply to us, you know. But something that I've prided myself on is throughout like growing my socials is always connecting with my audience because at the end of the day, they're the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing and getting paid and getting the free shit and all that sort of stuff. But if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be doing this. So for me, it's super important to connect back with them. And the amount of people that reply and be like, oh, I just didn't think you would see this message or didn't reply to me. I'm like, oh, we read them.
Yeah.
Like whether people get back to you or not, like they do. I'm going to say most
I
of the time read
reckon
them.
nearly every single person reads their DMs or like their requests as well. Like definitely some get missed unless you're like famous.
Yeah. Or like
famous.
there's some like hidden requests.
Yeah, and it gets missed like that. But yes. So I kind of like want to tie this as well into my coaching business and from like the past like 3 years to this year and the difference between like cruising and then working hard to actually be able to grow.
Because what year did you start Fever Lily coaching?
2022.
Yep.
I
It was
believe.
the year before you moved here.
Yes, like a year and a half, I would say.
Yeah,
I think it was like the start of 22 and I moved end of 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so basically I did it by myself until middle of last year, which was actually nearly a year ago now. September 2025 I did everything myself. I tried a few things, I failed a few things, but it was all up to me at the end of the day. And then Kate and I joined coaching last year, so pretty much now a year. And I can't even explain the growth that we have had since like coming together. Now, the biggest reason was because I've changed the way that I work and my work ethic. Now, I definitely work so much more now, but also because I feel like I have a lot more responsibility. When you work by yourself and you don't have as much responsibility and you are cruising, like for example, I could pay for everything easy. Like nothing felt difficult, so it's so easy to stay in my own bubble. Whereas now we have to pay like 4 different employees. We have cars to pay off. We have a house to pay off. Like I have no choice.
It was kind of, I wouldn't say you were cruising because you still were working hard.
Yes.
But like compared to now, you're like, I was doing nothing.
Exactly.
But you just had yourself and your clients basically that you're looking after. So it's easy to kind of go, oh, I don't need to push that extra bit because, you know, I'm living a great life for what we wanted back then. And it's like, I don't need an extra amount of money or I don't need to work until 2 a.m. because I'm living a great life right now for what I have.
And I think the biggest difference there as well is I used to be busy, not productive.
Yeah.
Whereas now I would say I'm a lot more productive, equally as busy, but the way that I've worked has completely changed. And I think that's something to really take away to you guys as well, is to actually reflect on your day-to-day. Are you just feeling it for the sake of being busy? Because there's no better feeling than when someone asks you, what did you do this morning? You're like, oh, flat out, already done X, Y, and Z, in comparison to being like, oh, I had a chill morning. Like, it feels very, I don't know, hard and resistful. It's like you kind of resistant to say like, I've had a chill morning or I haven't gotten up to do anything today.
Because people want to say they're busy so people think they're successful.
Exactly.
Busy doesn't equal successful.
No. So look at your week, look at your day and think, okay, am I being productive or am I just being busy and filling it with time? And that as soon as I actually had a look at that, that's where everything changed. And to realize, okay, this is the work that I have to put in. Now, on top of that, the content that I'm taking in is completely different to what I was taking in last year. Last year, I followed a lot more lifestyle influencers, a lot more bodybuilding people. Like, I wasn't following many business people. So I thought that I knew a lot and I thought that I was working hard for where I was. And at that time, absolutely. But now transitioning to where I am now, my podcast, I'm listening to business podcasts. I'm listening to people who are like way, way, way ahead of me. And so I'm expanding my knowledge and I feel like I'm like really stretching out that gap and realizing my true potential and how much I actually can achieve by just having a different environment. And that's not me knowing these people. It's just following their journeys and realizing, holy shit, there's so much for us to continue to do and continue to grow. And that's where it's so important to change what you, digest as information.
And we have access to so much. We have free podcasts, YouTube videos. Like, I feel like there's so many business people now. And I know Greg, who you started following from Pursuit of Wellness, he has just started really posting everything business. Have you watched his YouTubes?
Yeah.
And he kind of started to show face when Mari pulled back and she was going through the end of pregnancy and having a baby. And so Greg really took over and it's like he's sharing everything, free knowledge for people. Like, you don't need to go and do educational courses because you've got people like Greg, you've got Christian Guzman who shares a lot or used
Another guy called Dom. I would say Greg and Dom are like pretty much even right now. He owns like Raw Nutrition as well as like these 5 other brands and owns Bum Energy, which is basically C-Bum.
Yeah.
And like I reckon Jackson would actually love him as well, but they're like identical in what they post.
Yeah, okay. And then there's like so many podcasts where you've got Mel Robbins or you've got Stephen Bartlett or Emma Greed, who are always interviewing high business people and sharing their business journeys where you can learn from. And people, again, use it as a cop-out where it's like, I can't afford to go and do a course or like have a business coach. Have you tried podcasts? Because you're probably going to get more from the millions of podcasts that are out there from all different business people too. So it's like you don't have to pay 10 grand to get a business coach from one coach and have kind of being told one way when you can listen to 100 different podcasts from 100 different business people and learn so many different ways of business and find what works for you.
It's actually insane how much knowledge it is out there.
Yeah.
And that's where it does lead into the victim mindset. And we think that everything is against us or it's too hard. And like you said, oh, I don't have money to access a business coach or I don't have money to go to America and go to Alex Hormoz's event. Like, you don't need that to be successful. All you need is your work ethic and actually just being smart with what you are doing. And then that way you'll actually be able to grow. And that's the biggest thing that I just see is people fall into that victim mindset.
Yeah. I mean, even like our podcast studio, it would have been so easy for us to be like, well, we can't afford it and it's going to be too hard. I'm pregnant. We're about to have a baby. But we were like, no, there's a massive gap here in people wanting to start a podcast or having a podcast, not having good enough quality, always having troubles with their studios. And we were like, oh, but there's other competitors on the Gold Coast, yada, yada, yada. Since we've launched, one studio's shut down. One studio's dropped half their clients because they're reducing capacity. And now ours has taken off. And we originally wanted to have 5 founding members and now we've got like nearly 20.
Yeah.
So it's just like sometimes you have to kind of look at those excuses that you're making or look at the reasons why you're not doing it and go, okay, am I willing to push that edge and take that risk? Because 9 times out of 10 is always going to be worth it.
There's always going to be a reason why someone else has an advantage, right? It's so easy to say to someone like, well, they're already successful because they already had followers or they had rich parents, they have better genetics, they got lucky, they have more time. Whatever the, limiting belief that you play up, there's always going to be someone that has more advantage over you. But you can either choose to focus on that or actually put in the work to better yourself. And like at the end of the day, right, life isn't fair. We don't all have the same starting point at all. Some people definitely have a higher starting point. They, like for example, Alex Earl, her parents are already wealthy, but that doesn't automatically guarantee you success. Absolutely. It helps you, I guess, probably have different vocabulary from the time you were young, actually understand money a little bit more, probably have a little bit more opportunities, but that means nothing if you're not willing to actually run with that for the extra mile. I listened to these two girls on Emma Greed's podcast, and they're what you call like Nepo babies. And what that means essentially is they have super successful and rich parents, almost like famous parents. And so everyone used to say their success is because of their dad. And they said, our dad gave us absolutely nothing because he knew we had to work for it to get to where we are
It's
today.
almost like, not always, but like sometimes the rich parents do that. Like they're like, well, I've worked hard for my money. And yes, they could absolutely give it to their kids and they will always look after them. But it's teaching them how to get to where they are without just handing it to them.
Exactly. And then they're like, my dad isn't the one nominating us for an Emmy Award. He can't physically do that. We've done that through actually making an amazing like film production, whatever that may be. And it's like, absolutely. Everyone's going to have a different starting point, but it matters what you do from that. And it's like, or you can compare that to Emma Greed, who was interviewing them, and she started from nothing. Like a single mom, her mum was single and worked like her whole entire life because she was the eldest of 4 and got them to where they are today. Like, you can either choose that your life is going to be, I don't know, the reason why you're not successful, or you can fly with it.
And it's like Emma Green now co-owns a business with Kim Kardashian, has a massive podcast, and it's like she put herself in those rooms to make those things
3 businesses.
Yeah.
With 4 kids.
And good American. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just like you can always kind of look at that person and go, oh, but they had this handed to them. And it's funny because last night when we watched Suits, it was the episode where, I can't remember his name, new founding partner, whatever. His daughter was saying to Samantha, she was like, I will get what I want because my dad's rich. And Samantha was like, that's just not how it works. And I was like, just ironic that was what we watched. But it's so true, especially I feel like in this day and age, it can be a lot more not evident, but like
it's in your face due to social media.
Yeah.
And I could easily do it for like fitness, right? Like bodybuilding. Oh my gosh. Like she just has much better genetics than me. And honestly, bodybuilding comes down to genetics. It is what it is. Like the people that go really far are the ones that build muscle easy and have a great distribution in terms of like their body. And it's like, okay, I can either you just like constantly blame them, oh, that's why I'm not winning, that's why I'm not winning, or whatever it may be, or just put in the work to get to the level that they're at. And maybe it might require an extra 5% of me, but if you're willing to go that extra 5%, go with it because that's what's going to take you far.
And the only a lot of people sit there and just go, oh, but she can do this, she can do that. He's done this, he's done that. But where is that getting you? Like if you're sitting there and wasting your time and your energy going, oh, but she got this job and her dad has this amount of money and she got given this car, where is that getting you? Absolutely nowhere. If you've got the rich parent or not, you still need to put in the work and to get wherever you want to go. So stop comparing yourself to other people or stop going, that's not fair, I don't have this, and make it fucking happen for yourself. Otherwise, you either sit there and compare or you don't do the work and you're not going to get there.
Absolutely.
So just stop doing both.
Period.
And put in some work.
And that's where we've become obsessed with a society as like being fair.
Yeah.
And like if you kind of just go to school, and this is where like my empathy is really divided in half here because you now everything's a participation award. Everything has to be fair at school.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah. And this is where I'm like, okay, I think the hardest things in my life and your life have shaped who we are today, and that's where we are, like why we are here is because of all the hardships. Not everything that's easy that's happened to us. It's everything that I've had to grow through, evolve through to get to where we are now. And I absolutely agree with that. But then I'm like, oh, this little 4-year-old is sad because they didn't place top 3 and they don't get a medal. My heart breaks for them. I want to give them a medal too and say good job to them. But then I know that that's not getting them to where they need to be and building them up to be like a tough individual who can face rejection. Because rejection is the biggest thing you have to learn in life. But just my empathy in me, I'm like, oh, darling.
Yeah, it is hard when you see like a little kid. But controversial opinion is we need to get rid of the participation ribbons and have your first, second and third, especially in sport because that's just the way it is.
Sport, yeah.
Participation is not getting you to the Commonwealth Games.
No.
You know what I mean?
And that's where as well, like then they I guess, graduate from school. And then all of a sudden there is just first, second and third. And now they're like facing rejection at an older age where they've already wired their brain into believing that everything should be fair. And it makes it even worse when they're older.
Yeah. So I think this frustrates me because schools are just getting, I think, just so easy on the kids. Whereas like we grew up, it was first, second and third. It was you're right or you're wrong, or you learn the hard way. And looking back, I'm like so grateful for that, because now you look at the kids who get everything that they want and they're entitled, and when they don't win, they crack a tantrum because they don't know how to lose respectfully and knowing that the person who came first was better than them.
I remember one of my biggest rejections at school was like we had like, you know how you have your colours in your houses? Mine was blue house called Annals. And saying it out loud now is such a random name, but when you're at school, like
a really weird
it made
name.
like so much sense. Anyways, I believe personally that I should have been made sports captain in year 6. And when they were announcing it, everyone was like, oh yeah, you're getting it. I thought I was like, yeah, I'm getting it. Did not get it. And I remember.
Especially when everyone else thinks you're getting it.
Exactly. And then, you know, when everyone's like, oh, and then they don't announce you and they're like, oh. And I was like, okay. I was bawling straight away. And then I basically, thank God it was at the end of the day, so I could just like walk straight home. Cried my eyes out, so upset. But I just believe that like those times make me who I am now. Not because I got house captain, not because I got into the cheer team, not because I did all of these things. Like it's a rejection that defines who you are. So honestly, the more you can get rejected, the better.
I missed out on the national squad 3 times because of injury, people quitting.
Yeah.
And it was so easy for me to then be like, oh, I'm just ready to step away now. Maybe I'm just meant to be a coach. But I was like, no, I want to go to Worlds and experience what it's like, so I will not stop. And I didn't. And it's like after every injury or whatever it is, you just keep showing up and putting in the work. But it wasn't like I just kept getting handed these opportunities. I worked for the opportunities.
And based off that as well, right? Just because you are working hard and have worked consistently at something doesn't mean you're going to be successful. Like you aren't guaranteed success at the end of the day. Even if for 10 years you work, I don't know, freaking 6 to 6 every single day and you put in hours and countless of hours at this project that you're starting, you're not guaranteed success. Like, and someone might come in for 1 year and work really hard and then all of a sudden they become successful. Like, I think that's also a reality that we all need to accept, is just because we're working hard at something doesn't mean that we are guaranteed success. And that's something that I have learned in bodybuilding, especially because you can do absolutely everything right and put in 110% effort and get on that stage. Someone else who has only been training for a year and hasn't put their whole life in salt can beat you. And it's such a subjective sport, and that just is what it is at the end of the day. So just because you work hard doesn't mean you're going to be successful. But don't let that take away from your work ethic, because then maybe a year later you pivot and then all of a sudden you become successful. So don't think that you have to crumble everything because it's not working. You just maybe have to pivot or keep going.
Yeah. And it's just learning like all the different directions. It's like Jackson, you know, being in the footy industry and wanting to be an AFL player and getting that dream ripped away at 18 and then going, well, is my life over or do I make something of it? And then going into personal training and then that being everything and doing really successful in that. And then all of a sudden he picks up a camera, starts vlogging and then becomes a videographer.
Yeah, that is so
like
random.
It is random. And like none of, obviously he did his certificates in fitness, but like his videography camera, like we were saying this yesterday, he's learned everything from YouTube. He didn't go and do a camera course. He didn't go and do a photography course. He learned it all from YouTube and just fell in love with it. And now it's led to having a business, and now it's led to a podcast studio, bringing really good quality videos to podcast. And so it's like sometimes you just have to pivot, and it could be in a completely different industry or it could be a different role in the industry, but you have to be willing to like make changes when necessary.
Absolutely.
A lot of all of this with, you know, putting in the work and not just manifesting things comes anxiety and stress. And I think a lot of us, especially more so this day and age than say like our parents growing up, is a lot more anxiety and stress because there's a lot more competition. There's a lot more comparison. There's social media to where you're seeing everyone else doing what they're doing, and that brings stress and anxiety. And also the cost of living and the environment and all the things that have an impact on what we're doing today. But I think it's, for me, yes, there's always anxiety and stress. Like you and I, you cried this morning. I nearly had a breakdown last night, but I was too tired to cry, so I couldn't be bothered. And it's going to come with all of that. But you choose your anxiety and stress, I feel, as well. Like, no, I need to reframe that because a lot of people deal with anxiety and I get it because I have. But in terms of like I guess, business perspective, it's easy to get caught up in things and stress and then do nothing about it. Whereas I think now we've all learned to lean on the people around us. Again, you've got podcasts and things to listen into and listen how people deal with stress at such a high level of business. But I think if you're sitting in your stress and anxiety, it's obviously not going to get you where you want to be, but it's learning how to manage that. And I'm not talking about just like everyday anxiety that that you've experienced, that you've spoken about on the podcast. I'm talking about just like that high stress environment that can be controlled, if that makes sense.
When I have a high stress environment, something that's helped me kind of get through it is there's two things. Number one, no one's going to die if I have not done their job. Like literally, like let's say I haven't replied to one DM. I don't know, I forgot to do a training program, whatever it's going to be.
Didn't do a client check-in.
Didn't do a client check-in. Like those things never happen, but I'm like, no one's going to die if that's the case. And everyone is so understanding. Number two is I've gotten through every single stressful day, every single anxiety-driven day, every single day I've had a breakdown. I've gotten through and gotten the other side and always get everything done. That has been like the founding belief of my entire world this year as to why I've really kind of started to get in control of like how I feel and my anxiety. Because I'm like, okay, no matter how I feel, I always get everything done. So you can either let it run you or you can control it yourself. So that's been a huge thing for me. Now, secondly to that, this is also where, and I want to kind of say this as my own experience. So if you have anxiety yourself, everyone experiences it in a completely different way. But this is, mine was very much business related. And I also think I got to a tipping point, my mental health wise, that like any type of stress, it just tipped me over like mental health wise. So this is very subjective, but things that like help me kind of carry on and continue doing it. It's just like at the end of the day, like you just have to still get it done. Like the amount of times that I would cry driving to the podcast and then get out of the car, pull it together, record an episode, cry driving to the gym, have a full breakdown. There's been multiple times where like I've actually had like a full panic attack while driving, had to pull over. Kate had to come get me. Okay, cool, calm down. Let's go to work. Acted like it never happened. Like the world does not stop moving because of how you feel. And sometimes you just have to keep showing up because the second that I ever got somewhere, I'm very good at pulling it together and like will always separate my business and what I have to do as well as my mental health. And so I would always keep that at home or keep that for the car. And the second I got anywhere, it would almost stop because I could get out of my head. But if I stayed at home and I stayed, I guess, in my own thoughts, that's where it would get to me. So I knew that if I started having a panic attack, breaking down, crying, I just had to get outside away from my environment and just carry on with the day because you can either, again, let it control you or you control it. So the baseline is sometimes you just have to keep showing up no matter how bad you feel.
And it's hard.
It's so
it
hard.
Really hard.
It's so hard.
But you low-key get used to it.
Yeah.
But you also, in that space, you learn how to manage it. And everyone is going to be different. Like, for me, it'll be having a moment to myself, journaling or getting it off my chest. For you, it'll be fully crying it out, having a panic attack.
Telling everyone.
Telling everyone and speaking it out. For Jackson, it's going completely internal and dealing with himself. Like everyone's going to have a completely different way of dealing with it. But the biggest thing is that you learn how to deal with it.
Exactly.
It could be going to therapy and having those conversations. It could be going for a run and then you feel better. And there's no right way. There's no right way to deal with it or wrong way. But as long as you are dealing with it and managing it, that's the biggest thing in this picture.
Yeah.
I will say.
I think a question I want you guys to think about and to leave you with as well is like, if I carried on being the person that I am today, will I achieve my goals? And that just is so hard hitting, not only just for your goals, but even like fitness related, right? Because we all, want to be able to squat 80 kilos. We all want to be able to feel healthy, be on our nutrition, whatever that may be. If you continue being the person you are today, are you going to achieve your goals? If the answer is no, something has to change. If the answer is yes, amazing. Keep going, keep pushing. But it really just puts things into perspective if you are actually becoming the person you want to be, or are you just planning it, writing it down and not actually changing?
I feel like where I'm at the moment, just for some like personal info, is like, yes, I have a 6-week-old newborn and I'm so like entrepreneurial and just love my job. I love the podcast. I love social media. I love having the podcast studio and YouTube. Like all of those things, they light me up. And making them all work whilst also trying to be super present is really, really difficult. And this was like the reason behind why I wanted to have a breakdown last night, but I couldn't be bothered. And it's just looking at, okay, can I get a YouTube editor? But then I'm a control freak and want to edit my videos myself and have them done my way. But Jackson made this point this morning because we were getting our editor for the business to do my YouTube vlogs, and he did 2 of them and I hated them. And he was like, that was how many months ago? If you had kept at it, you would have trained him up by now to how you liked them. And I was like, why do you have to be realistic
I
like
hate
that?
boys that are logical. Just agree with me.
Don't be logical.
No.
Just let me
Our
have
boys
my
are
moment.
way too logical as
Yeah,
well.
literally. And I was like, yeah, such a good point. And then it's like, okay, I want to have more time with Tate, but then I'm about to launch a new project, which I'm so passionate about. And like, he's the reason that this passion is coming to life. And so it's just trying to make it all coexist. And then you go into the spiral of thinking like, do I just cancel everything and just be that present, fully mum and just like find a job that just brings a decent income and call it a day? But it's like, that would not fulfill me. And so each season's going to bring a new challenge. Like for you, back then it was, you know, you were living interstate, you were doing your business by yourself, and that comes with its own challenges. And now you're here having a massive business with multiple staff and renting a warehouse. Like there's a lot that comes with that. And the same now that I'm a mother and I have a child, it's like your priorities change, everything changes. So you have to also shift with that as well. And now I'm kind of just, I mean, I'm 6 weeks in. I need to give myself some credit. And I went back to work after like 2 weeks. So there's that. But I think it's really just acknowledging the season that you're in and what that season needs. And, you know, I saw a post the other day where it's like when someone, what it was like when I had my second baby, because I obviously had my first and experienced that, I was able to know what I wanted for my second baby in terms of like taking time off.
I feel like everyone figures out after their first.
Yeah. And of course, like I'm going to have a toddler and a newborn. So it's like, okay, I want to know that I will have extra time off.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'm in a better place then. And obviously we've had a baby as much as a surprise. So of course it's just figuring out. But even if it was a surprise or not, it's always going to be about figuring it out and just navigating each different season. And this is my season right now. And your season, I feel like you've come to a nice like, what's the word?
I think
you are a lot more settled.
I do think it's just a lot more control.
Yeah.
I think at the start of the year, we were just very much chasing our tail and growing so fast that we couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
Whereas now, hiring the right people to be able to help us so then we can put more focus on other areas and not feel so frantic all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do want to touch on one other thing, and it was based on my story last night, kind of saying that I quit having an office job essentially to pursue like creating my own business. So then I could have flexibility, freedom,
travel whenever,
do whatever I want.
Work from wherever.
Yeah. Now we're back in an office. And I work probably more than a 9 to 5 here.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that I think a 9 to 5 can get such a bad rap. But the biggest thing to kind of identify here is that, like, is it fulfilling you? Because if it's not, that's when it can be so detrimental to your long-term health, honestly, and even just your mental health. But one of my friends replied to that story and they're like, I couldn't agree more because I quit my 9 to 5 to start my own online business, felt so isolated, felt so stressed all the time. Now I've gone back to a 9 to 5 and I feel so much more fulfilled in what I do. I have a lot more structure. I feel like I can actually progress in my career and I'm so much happier overall. And I'm like, wow, you do actually get to have the best of both worlds. And I felt like I always probably put down having a 9 to 5 and viewed it as a bad thing or deemed not successful. But I'm like, it's so the opposite. If you work for a company that gives you so many tools to be able to grow, to be able to learn, to constantly progress, and there are KPIs that you can hit to earn more of an income, have bonuses and things like that, then amazing. So don't feel like because you follow all these people online that work from the laptops, they mean they're happier than you. That means they have more money than you. Believe me, the amount of people online probably don't earn as much money as you. It's just a facade. Like I know so many people that I can promise you, they look like they have it together and they absolutely do not. So don't compare your life to someone else's based on social media. If you're happy in your job, incredible.
Yeah. You'd be surprised at like what people put online that's not true.
Yeah.
Or make it look like something that it's not, and then you're just left in this hole comparing yourself to them when you're probably earning more and maybe more happier. But at the end of the day, you have to shut all of that out and just look at yourself. Am I happy in my job? Am I happy in myself? Am I happy in my body? Because at the end of the day, that's when you'll thrive. That's when you'll feel happy. And then the comparison will stop when you're happy in yourself. I think when you're comparing, it's like, okay, what am I comparing to and why? And then go, am I comparing to Lily because she's super fit? Okay, how do I feel in my body? Maybe a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe I'm not eating the best foods. Bring that back to yourself because it's always a reflection of where you're at, and then progress from there or move forward from there.
Absolutely. Period.
Well, that's been fun.
That was fun. A little bit of a rant involved, but I think it was really good. And I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. Love you guys so much. Hope you're loving the 2 episodes a week.
Yes.
Very,
and
very fun.
2 decent episodes.
Yeah.
Well, like, okay, Fridays stick to like 20-minute episodes, quick chit-chat ones.
45 minutes later.
Literally, I'm like, well, I've got things to say.
Yeah, we do. And it's like our catch-up time.
Yeah, it is.
So don't forget to follow us on Spotify, and we're also on YouTube. The more support you show us, the more we can do for the podcast and for you, which is exactly what we want. You can join our Facebook community because we're planning. We're planning our 4th birthday.
Yeah, that's going to come up so fast. We actually need to lock in a date for that.
We do.
Yeah.
And planning a lot for next year in terms of our community.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Love you so much. See you Friday.